Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Nobunaga's Ambition Awakening. I'm the Mysterious JG. Um, I've had, I've had a love-hate relationship with this series, mostly love, but the whole starting and restopping, like I think I lost a lot of engagement, people got impatient, um, don't have that many folks. I don't know, it was a rough way to do a Let's Play campaign. And I want to play more of this game, and I'm not exactly sure which campaign to do next. Because I'm afraid, like, I really want to play through the Oda. We haven't played through the Oda in a long time, and they've got a really fascinating story. But it would be like this, it would be even worse than this, as far as like so many events having to go right to get everything to go straight in the Nobunaga Oda Rise to Power. Um, so I don't know. I'm thinking about it pretty hard, but I'm talking about that now because this is a pretty exciting time of the series. We're here on the events menu because I'm going to show you two more events that didn't quite kick off correctly, but I'm okay with it because we've hit the point now where when we load back into the game, we've got a few events left, but they're already set. They're going to happen when the dates hit. We no longer have any events other than the two that I'm about to show, which I guess we'll now consider non-canon for our Let's Play. Two events involving the Takeda and the Hōjō, and their falling out, and the death of the Hōjō clan leader. Because one of those, the only reason I'm even noticing it is because it was marked as a Uesugi event, because basically Kagetora makes like a cameo at the end of that. But it's really a Hōjō event, and it didn't trigger because the Battle of Mimatsatoge didn't trigger, and that's not a Takeda. That's a Takeda Hōjō event that the Uesugi are not directly involved in. They're mentioned, no Uesugi character appears, so I wasn't tracking it as something that had to be done. Without going back and checking on it, I got this off screen while doing some stuff as the Takeda. Basically, I did a playthrough as the Takeda using cheats to get through really quickly and easily, and it was all about being able to showcase the fantasy scenario where Shingen defeats Kenshin, and Kenshin turns over all of his lands and all of his officers, but Kenshin himself goes off into the priesthood. And we're going to see the flip side of that in this scenario when we defeat Shingen utterly as Kenshin. But in doing that, I unlocked these battles, so we'll see them. And without double checking on the requirements, I believe the reason that this didn't come to pass when we played as the Uesugi is because I knocked too many lumps out of the Takeda, and they weren't strong enough to defeat the Imagawa. Because this event is triggered. We've seen the Triple Jump Moonsault Alliance, as I keep jokingly calling it, fall, a collapse. Where the Takeda decided to try to seize on the weakness of the Imagawa to attack them. And the Hōjō were affronted, and the alliance broke down, and the Hōjō tried to make peace with the Uesugi and sent one of the Hōjō's sons, like Ujiyasu. No, Ujiyasu is that guy. Sorry. Ujiyasu sent one of his sons off to be a hostage for the Uesugi, an alliance with the Uesugi, and that's an important part of Uesugi history. But this is what happens now when... This happens when the alliance ends, but then, as we saw, when playing Nobunaga's Ambition... was it Rise to Power? Iron Triangle? Sphere of Influence. When playing that at the Takeda, we saw that the Hōjō attacked the Takeda after the Takeda started attacking the Imagawa. And this is this game's version of what happens there. So we have to see that before we can see the final Takeda or Uesugi event we're not going to see, which involves the death of the Hōjō clan leader. Battle of Mimatsatoge. Shingen Takeda had effectively destroyed the Imagawa clan, inviting the resentment of the Hōjō clan, with whom he had once formed alliance. The Hōjō clan later made peace with the Uesugi in order to bring themselves one step closer to gaining victory over the Takeda. Finally, Ujiyasu Hōjō departed with his army to Tsuruga.
Let's begin! To the battlefield!
So, the Hōjō's little bastard is set out to take Tsuruga, you say? Well, I'll show him a trick or two. Shingen ordered his entire army to march. One would expect that he'd send them to protect Tsuruga from Ujiyasu's assault, however. As if he were ignoring Ujiyasa entirely, Shingen ordered his troops to march southward from northern Kanto, all the while keeping the Uesugi clan at bay. See, this would be pretty difficult in the map that we have going in our version of events, because we are controlling... Like, this is him marching from Takeda territory, but attacking the Hōjō in an unexpected angle. In our version of things, like, the Uesugi have conquered this territory from the Hōjō, and there's no way he can get there without fighting us directly. But in this case, he's skirting along, like, the border with us. As a result of this wholly unexpected move, the Hōjō clan found their main base, Odawara Castle, completely surrounded.
Everyone, fall back to the...
What? Shingen has sent his army to Odawara? We must return at once! Panicked, Ujimasa Hōjō withdrew from Suruga, rushing back to Odawara, where his family remained.
We are struggling indeed.
Only a man like Shingen would ignore the assault by my brother's army and direct an attack on our main base in his absence.
Crush them!
Ha! What of it? If Odawara didn't fall to territory to Uesugi, there's no way it'll fall to Shingen. We'll rout his forces! No, we will not engage him. We must approach this in the same way we did Territora. To answer his provocation is to fall into his trap. And so, Ujiyasu kept his forces from meeting the Takeda, focusing his efforts instead on fortifying their defenses. And as any good Koei game player knows, Odawara Castle is like the toughest nut to crack in the entire campaign. Like, Samurai Warriors 2, which is still, like, kind of has a special place in my heart. It's like my favorite. The Samurai Warriors 2 plus Extreme Legends, and if you count Empires as part of it, probably some of my favorite Koei gameplay ever. And it has 2 different missions focused on the east and west attacks on Odawara Castle. And in... I don't know why I'm going off on this big long aside about Samurai Warriors. In Samurai Warriors 2, the stupid demon clown ninja guy, Kotaro Fuma, was the only character on the Hōjō side. Everyone else was just generics. So they had the names of the actual historical Hōjō officers, but they were just generic officer models. Later Samurai Warriors games, for some reason, they gave us Ujiyasu, the Lion of Sagami, who's this kind of like, you know, they have him as kind of this grizzled old veteran, like solid sneaky type of guy. And then like his daughter is like an adorable little girl in a white and blue dress. And then a character who was kind of associated with them at different points, Kai, is the like. But it's they throw in a bunch of female characters. You still don't see his sons, who are like the actual historical figures of most import. Apologies to the women of history, but like the actual people who were organizing the defense of the castle were never playable in any of these games. So the Odawara Castle siege scenarios, which are all basically Hideyoshi Toyotomi is the ruler, and the Hōjō are like the last force to submit to his rule. So you've got these missions where all of the playable characters, people who are enemies in other campaigns and scenarios, everybody who's still alive, the Date to Kanatsuga Naoe, who sort of represents the Uesugi in that game, to Yukimura, to Mitsunari, and then you've got the Takibana and the Shimazu. Like, fucking everybody who's playable and has their own storylines is all on the same army against an army of generics. But it's still a tough mission because, like, Odawara Castle is full of, like, ridiculous traps. It's like Kagero Deception 2 beats Samurai Warriors. So yeah, the idea that, like, this big army would attack Odawara Castle and Odawara Castle would be fine is totally plausible to me, because I do remember my first playthroughs of those games. It's very easy to lose the Odawara Castle missions because there's all sorts of points where surprise counterattacks get struck on your Hideyoshi at the main camp while you're busy dealing with, like, fucking Demon Clown Ninja and, you know, fucking Mega Rock rolling down the stairs or whatever. I should get back to this game, though.
We return. Move!
I suppose Ujiyasu's not like his son. If he won't come out to fight, then we might as well pull back. Just like Terutora Uesugi, Shingen grew disheartened at his ill-plotted attempt at Odawara Castle, and after just a few days passed, he ended the blockade. Odawara is a good example, too, of how, like, they had the most defensible castle in Japan, And it was on a plain, so you could see how, yeah, like, they could be outmaneuvered in the field and have people attack their main castle, and that's a problem. Because it's not like mountain passes you can defend with gates and shit, like in Romance Three Kingdoms. But just having a really well-defended castle basically just sets you up for, okay, well, your enemies defeat you in the field and take over all of your farms and shit. And Odawara had, like, a huge castle town. It was incredibly self-reliant, but, like, you couldn't rule the Kanto Plain if your enemies were running roughshod. It's like, fuck, it's now I'm off on every tangent possible now. It's reminding me now of, like, a Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers and, like, all that. You know, we got to go out and fight the orcs, and like, no, let's hang out here at Helm's Deep. Yeah, it's very Helm's Deepian. I'm sure that Tolkien was heavily influenced by Japanese history, which I'm sure he knew a lot about. It worked. The Takeda are retreating. We must pursue them. Ujiyasu can return from Suragawa at any moment. It's the perfect time to surround Shingen in a pincer attack. We will not. Shingen is a far greater warrior than you presume him to be. A man like him would be well aware of such risk. However, it will hurt our men's morale if we do nothing to an enemy who turned their back on us. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You must trust us in this matter. Fine. Do as you please. Insisting against their father's warning, Ujiteru and Ujikuni marched their troops out of the castle and pursued the Takeda army for an attack. But just as Ujiyasu predicted, Shingen had prepared a trap.
Crush them into dust!
So they came after all, the brats. We showed them what it means to fight against the Takeda. Shingen's army had been divided, as one part continued to hold back Uchimasa's forces, while the other lured both Ujiteru and Ujikuni into an ambush near Mimatsutoge. Both Ujiteru and Ujikuni's forces lost, leaving them no choice but to return to Odawara, where Ujimasa's troops had finally arrived as well.
I can hardly bear to show my face.
Father, I apologize.
I can hardly bear to show my face.
I can hardly bear to show my face. I am deeply ashamed. What a mess. I suppose my sons are just no match for Shingen. How are you ever going to manage after I die?
I have mishandled things.
And is the guy with the spear going to show up and say he can hardly bear to show his face? No. Surely you realize I don't have many years left. Perhaps we were foolhardy in deciding to ally with the Uesugi to challenge the Takeda. I was talking too much. We missed the... I'm too ashamed to show my face. I'm so ashamed to show my face. Like happening twice in a row, which is pretty funny, actually. Who is this? Motonari Mori? Okay, I saw a portrait. I didn't recognize her for a second. I think we saw Ujiyasu's fox hunt where he was reading poems about how he was going to die and shit. But in fact, that is all a precursor to an event that I'm sure he will die eventually in game, but it is not an event we will get to see as an event. Ujiyasu dies. Ujiyasu Hōjō, the hero of Sagami. The Hōjō are a clan. It's kind of easy mode, playing as the Hōjō. Although if I make myself do the historical events, we'll have the same, like, kind of weird path of not being able to do certain things. But I do wonder about the history of the Hōjō. I don't know that much about it. They're just kind of this clan that in this game, like, their lands are so good. You always wonder, like, why don't they just fucking take over? So I would be curious to play as them someday, too. But Ujiyasu Hōjō, the hero of Sagami, the man who decimated the Kokakubo, and both Uesugi clans at the Battle of Kawagoe. The two Uesugi clans that are basically, there's these split Uesugi clans that are like all branches of the real Uesugi clan, and they can't decide who the real Uesugi clan is. As you will recall, if you've been paying attention in this playthrough, Kagatora Nagao, whatever his first name is. Was that his name when we first got him, or did he change it later? But Kagatora Nagao makes himself, like, he assumes the mantle of Teratora Uesugi to, like, kind of reclaim the dignity of this clan but like by blood he was a member of the Nagao clan, so the Uesugi clans had been sort of the bitches of the Hōjō clan. But both the Uesugi clans at the Battle of Kawagoe, and who went on to stand against Teratora Uesugi and Shingen Takeda as he sought to unify Kanto. I guess he stood against them ish. His final days were approaching. Father.
Ujiyasu, our projects are not ideal, but I leave the future of the Hōjō to you. Work with your brothers and keep Kanto safe.
I will.
Ujiteru, Ujikuni, please lend your brother your aid.
Of course.
You have my word!
Me and my brothers are well united.
My one regret lies with Takeda. Do not make enemies of them when I pass away. Seek only peace.
But
remember Mimasatoge. Even when you lot work together, you were no match for Shingen's tricks. We must not antagonize such a force.
yeah, the Hōjō were kind of... They feel in this game like they're the only clan that's playing to defend what is theirs. Even though they took lands away from the old guard Uesugi. But like they seem like they're playing to be a powerful regional clan rather than constantly trying to take over all of Japan, like all these other clans seem to have the goal of taking over all of Japan. Even as I say that, I know it's not quite true. Like, Shingen had this dream of marching on the capital that he pushed near the end of his life. And I guess the Imagawa, the other two members of the Triple Jump Moonsault Alliance, both wanted to take over all of Japan. And it's kind of unclear what Kenshin really wanted. Like, he seemed like he was planning his own, like, dive towards Kyoto near the end of his life, but a lot of the other, like, there were other clans that were just seemed to be trying to build up and be strong locally, but the Hōjō like exemplify the clans that were trying to take care of their own territory that they thought was theirs.
But if we join forces with the Takeda, I doubt Uesugi would approve, and they have Saburo.
If this is heaven's decree, I have no choice but to accept it.
I should not have sent Saburo as a hostage. No son deserves such treatment from his father. Even though I didn't give him a name that started with Uji like the rest of you, I still loved him. But I did what I had to do for the clan. Though it means abandoning Saburo and severing ties with the Uesugi, we must pursue peace with the Takeda.
Brother! And so Ujiyasu Hōjō passed away. As the greatest warrior in Kanto, his death had a profound impact on the relations between many clans.
Ujiyasu is dead, is he? How many years has it been since I made that pledge with Yoshimoto at Zentokuji? Yoshimoto and Ujiyasu have both passed on to the next life. How long am I for this world, I wonder?
As per Ujiyasu's parting request, the Hōjō clan severed ties with the Uesugi and re-established an alliance with the Takeda. Father, do you truly mean to throw me away?
Kagatora, Ujiyasu may have died, but your true father is here. Your home is with the Uesugi now.
Okay. Even after their alliance with the Hōjō clan was shattered, Teratora did not return Kagatora to his birth family, and the boy himself chose to stay with the Uesugi. I don't know if I should call them Uesugi, the Uesugi, but... And there we are, folks. There will be more events, but those are the last ones that I have to make sure I show you, because from this point on... Jeez, look at that. That's most of Japan right there, and we're just finishing. Like, this is what we've conquered of Japan before. I'm like, okay, now we can just play to conquer and not worry about events. And we've got more than a third of Japan there, it looks like to me. I'd say we got, like, it's less than half. It's more than a third, I'd say, of Japan. Udiye Ukita, Toyotomi retainer. No, why is there? During the Battle of Sekigahara, I sided with the Western Army. After the battle, he was assigned to someplace. What do you want to do, Kalinowari Sanada? He thinks that we should attack the Hōjō. Well, I know what he really wants, which is to destroy the Tokugawa. And Kalinowari Sanada, I'm happy to say, if you're watching this series, some of these guys have their usernames as their characters. Other people have, like, consistent contributors of the Zerfall charity event every year and always putting characters. And I don't really know for sure that they're watching because they're not necessarily making comments, or if they are, I'm losing track of what username has what character. But I hope Kalinawari Sanada will be pleased that fairly soon we will in fact be, and by soon I mean in the next 30 videos, we're going to be taking out the Tokugawa in this campaign for sure. But in fact, we were busily just marching. We got armies in the field, don't we? Yeah. Like the lilies in the field, but different. So we could raise Komodo Castle. How long would that take?
I'm confident I can handle it.
30 days, but it will prove somewhat difficult. We could do a sneak attack. As long as Ujiyasu Hōjō lives. Guy's got an amazing portrait.
I have a terrific idea.
This seems fairly challenging. I wouldn't get my hopes up. So yeah, basically we just don't think that's going to work. I feel bad because we're sitting on all this... Do I have, like, substitutes who aren't assigned? No. So, yeah, we are fully developed here. There's nothing else to do unless I hit a point where I want to replace anything that boosts gold with stuff that boosts food. We've got more labor than gold, and I hate sitting around on all this labor, but... get some attendance. You're an attendant? Wow, okay.
Leave this to me.
That's 3 labor used up right there. Let's do one more of these and then we'll, we just took this over, right? We're already doing something here. Do I care about stables in all these places, though? I certainly... I'm trying to think, what is my pattern when I've only got 3 places that I can build in? I usually want irrigation canal, rice dealer stables, and supply depot. But if I only get 3, what have I been doing? Stable supply, training grounds. Oh, I set it to auto and he's building a training ground. God damn it. Alright, we'll go ahead and get stables. Looking for somebody that I recognize and care about their development as an officer.
Here.
Don't know if I care about that guy or not, but he's going to get it done faster than the other people will. Okay. So that left us with a couple of reserve labor, and we didn't spend all the gold. Let's keep going. And I guess... yeah, we're not marching Kenshin himself out just yet. Until these guys get a little closer. I mean, I'm keeping 15,000 troops. Now, not like the Oda have like fucking 12,000 troops here in Daishoji Castle, so it's not like they don't have some massive troop counts going in their castles too. And actually, yeah, Ichijo Dani Castle, which is the main base of the Asakura, has more troops than me. So never mind, maybe my 16,000 troops isn't as impressive as I thought it was. I don't know how much more developed this place can get, though. suppose I could get what would this do to our troop counts? Another 1,425 troops.
Quite.
Oh, the hell, let's go for it. Because I'm pretty sure we've seized all of the farms here, right? Yeah, we've long since seized all the farms. This place is really not capable of developing except for building those irrigation canals up to level 3 and level 4. So I guess total enemy soldiers 33,928.
Their castle will soon fall.
Problem is, it's going to be really tough to get. Yeah. Part of the issue is that I want to take Iwadono before we take Tsuji. I'd like Tsuji Kasaki to be the last thing we take, but that might involve like marching down right past it and around it, because the last castle we don't actually have to take. It will be a cinematic.
Their castle shall be ours ere long.
Whose territory is this? This is Usugi territory. It just doesn't have, unless there's construction that we never discovered, it doesn't have a way to get through there.
It shall be ours.
This illness is messing with that dude's strength. We have finished a stable. I have found Lord Shigetsune Yahagi. He wishes to serve our clan. What shall we tell him? He is a Kasai retainer, lord of Sorodade Castle. He quelled the Yamada clan rebels and took over the territory. He was later killed by Masamune Date. He's 15-year-old, and his stats are pretty garbage, but whatever.
I will do everything in my power for my lord.
I invited him because he was down in his luck. This guy's got an interesting portrait. He's reading, and he's wearing a helmet that looks like the one that Kanatsuga Naue wears and Samurai wears. He's 14. He's an Oda retainer, son of Katahide. He married Nobunaga's daughter. After the Noji incident, he served Hideyoshi Toyotomi. It is believed that Hideyoshi feared his cleverness. Oh, he's got amazing stats, though. Yeah, Gamo. I think that's like an actual famous name. He's got a lot. Yeah, this guy's really high-end.
I shall serve you well.
Let's try to remember that guy. Territorial suppression. Assimilate tribe. Supply assistance. Shortage of rights at Nitte Kanayama Castle.
I'm confident I can handle it. I shall do all that I can.
I'll go ahead and do that, and not going to worry about raising, but we will take in
At the moment,
tribes.
I shall see it done.
Kawagoe, I don't think I want to, I think, oh, not Kawagoe, hold on, it's, I think I just built a stable here. Oh no, it's in process, never mind, somewhere else that came through, alright, whatever.
Your orders, if you please. March! At once. A lot of you, with me.
Oh, we are running long here. I kind of lost track of the time because of all the reading at the beginning of the video. All right, we're gonna call it a video. When we come back next time, we've got a lot of troops marching, but because we spent half of the video reading about Hōjō events that didn't technically happen in this reality, we didn't get to any combat. But it seems likely, even if we're not controlling a battle manually next time, it does seem likely that we're going to be actually fighting the Takeda in the next video. Thanks for watching.